I've decided to tackle the first part of the downgrade to an SE, which is to replace the side skirts, because I've got to put an under tray on this side, which I've received. I purchased from a guy breaking a car. So I'm removing the side skirts. Couldn't get a matching colour, but what I did manage to find was these side skirts here, and this is called sparkling graphite, and it just so happens that it matches the colour of my petrol cap. So I'm hoping just to sort of accentuate the car perhaps with sparkling graphite side skirts and bumpers, if I can find some bumpers of the same colour. Now everything's gone pretty much to plan, so you just have to prise off the trim that comes over the top of there. Then there are two of those sort of plastic pop rivet things which you push down and they expand out, so you just have to lever the tops up and then lever them out. This all came off, it lifted off of there okay, that was all fairly good. Similarly with the front, same thing. This is killing me to do this to this car, it really is, but there you go, it's got to be done. So same thing, in this case there were three of them. Lever them up, pull them out, and it pretty much came off. But, and this is where I'm now having the fun, if I can just get this to view up inside there and focus. Hopefully you can see that. So it's got these little lever things. Sorry, it's going in and out of focus a bit. So the bumper snaps on, and I'm sure it's easy to get on, but it's not so easy to get off. Somehow I've got to lever those little snap clips downwards so the bumper pulls off. So that's the fun I'm having at the moment. As you can see, I've got it off now. What I did, these are the clip things I was referring to. If I can just get that to focus a bit. I pulled down, I managed to get something behind this. I used a little hook thing, this thing. I managed to get that there through the gap. Then I pulled down and applied a small amount of pressure, and the whole thing just suddenly they all popped and it came off. So not as bad as I was expecting, but I don't want to break these clips because otherwise, you know, it's just something else I'm going to have to replace. But I would imagine fitting it's really easy because you just push it on and then bash it and it will obviously snap into place. But getting it off is a bit more challenging. Do you know, for ages I couldn't even figure out what the difference was between the SE bumpers and the Msport. And it's only when you see them side by side that it's more obvious. You can see there's a sort of fluting in this area here, which you don't have in the other one. And actually, if you look at this ridge, it sweeps upwards as you go towards the back, whereas on the standard SE, it doesn't. It's just a ridge all the way along the length of the bumper. Pretty subtle difference, but enough for you to fail scrutineering, apparently. Had a bit of a clean up along here, as you can see, and I found a little spot of rust, so I've rubbed it down a bit and painted it with Hammerite, as I do everything. This is the panel that's missing from the left side of the car, so managed to pick up a replacement one of those from the same guy who supplied the side skirts. I've cleaned the side skirts up. They seem fine. He did say that he thought there was some damage on one of them, but I can't actually see it. Yeah, they look fine to me. Oh, I think what might be a little bit of a... Yeah, I think it's a bit dented just here. But quite honestly, after about 3 or 4 races, it will probably be have a lot more dents on it than that one. So yeah, I think we can live with that. I'm going to try to show you how to get these trims off, because this is quite difficult, this bit. So they basically got to come this way, away from the side of the car towards you. So they pull, and it's got some little clips across the back. I think there's 2 on this one and there's 3 or 4 on the one at the front, but they're both basically the same. So you need to get something, I mean, these have seen better days anyway, actually, but something down the side of here. I do ease them up a bit at the front because that can loosen them a bit. Let's see if we can get this one in here. Nope, not a hope. Okay, we'll just focus on the back. Actually, I can see the clips started to appear already. There you go, so there's a snap, it hasn't broken anything. Okay, now you can see this is pulled away from there. You should be able to get it out quite easily. Okay, you can see the thing is they hook, hopefully this is all stayed in focus, you can see they actually hook into the side of the skirt just there, so you can't pull this side up, you've got to slide them this way. And also you can see these clips, these things go into here to lock it together. Next thing obviously is just to release these. Whoops. And then they should come off completely. Okay, so that's it. For the front, just the same procedure. Pull the cover plate forward and off, and then undo these. I think there's 3 or 4 on the front one, and then everything else is fairly obvious. Obviously there's lots of clips and screws and plastic things underneath that attach the bottom of the skirt to the body. I'm hoping that I haven't got to take the whole of the undercloaking off, but we'll see how we get on. This one was a real struggle. So this is the front one on the driver's side. I did use these plastic trim things, levers, but even that I've caused a little bit of denting along here. Just this first bit where I was levering this end. Once I got it loose, the far end came out fine and there's no dents in this bit. I'm going to keep these bumpers because I'm hoping at some point the 116 trophy people will decide that Msport styled cars are allowed, in which case I'll put these bumpers back on and side skirts. So I'm going to keep them. But if you were taking this trim off for some other reason, you know, I'm assuming that if you're taking it off, you're probably going to replace it. And if you're not taking it off for that reason, then you may want to sell it on, or you may just want to take it off to do something else. Maybe put something, well, 2 things you could do. The plastic trim levers, you could sand down the corners so they're not quite as, I mean, these are quite rounded, but they have got a bit of a ridge on them, so you could remove the ridge. That might help. The other thing is you could put a piece of plastic or something between the lever and it'll have to be a thin piece of plastic, but between the lever and the side skirt. I think even if you put the trims back on now, you probably wouldn't notice unless you looked, but it is a bit frustrating that that should happen. Anyway, just a word of warning. Well, that's it off this side too. Same deal. I just hooked that first clip, as I showed you before earlier in the video, hooked that down, pulled the front of the skirt out away from the body, and the rest of the clips gave way. Just obviously do it gradually and quite gently. You can see what sort of crud gets inside here. So I'll clean all this up. If I spot any rust patches, I'll probably paint them. I don't think I've got any rust patches this side. By the looks of things, it looks all right. Round here you can see the same clip arrangement, so exactly the same as the other side. One thing that did happen was one of the clips that inserts into there snapped. Luckily I've got some spares because the guy who sent the side skirts to me sent all the clips with it, so I think I've got some spares. Actually, they're already on the side skirts. This is the side skirt for this side, and you can see this is the clip that snapped into the body, so I've just got to get the residue out. I have pressure washed these, but doesn't seem to have cleaned them up completely. But anyway, yep, so this is going to go on now. I can put this on straight away because if I'm not going to paint, then I haven't got to wait for the paint to go off, so I'll stick this one on right now, I think. The question is it possible to get this side skirt on my own without taking the doors off and without taking the undercloaking off? I can tell you it's already proven a bit of a struggle. So my surrogate helper is a chair, so I've propped that up under there. I mean, obviously the other skirt came off without me taking the doors off and without me taking the undercloaking off, so hopefully I can get it back on, but it's already a struggle. So if you can get help, I would suggest you get someone, even if it's just someone to hold one end of it and just move it slightly as needed. So the answer is to get this front piece in first. If you can get that clipped in as I've done there, I think the rest should follow. Yep, definitely not as bad as I thought it might be. So I got the front piece in and then just work my way. Actually, you've got to open the back door and flex the bumper a bit and get the back door bit in. And then it's just thump the clips home along the edge. And now all I've got to do is clamp it, obviously bolt it up underneath. But yeah, it's gone in okay. The problem I am finding when I'm putting the clips on the underside of the side skirts is they've got these bits that go into the body, and then the side skirt sits sort of, flush to this, and then these push up through. And as you tighten them, it expands out this thing here to lock it into the body. These are all broken. Well, I think there's one or two that are whole. And if I look on the other side, they're not. Some of them are broken. Some of them have been wrenched right over sideways. And you can see that the actual body panel underneath, the box section of the sill, has been distorted. And one of the things I've found with this car is people have tried to jack it in just about every place other than the place it should be jacked. And so they've put dents in the boxwork, they've put dents in the... I think they collapsed a bracket that holds on the undercoating, and someone has actually cut the undercoating off with a disc cutter. And I think the reason they've done it is because they couldn't get it off because it's been jacked and it's all got jammed on, so they just cut it off. Yeah, it's a bit of a disaster, really. I don't know if that's a common problem with these cars. Maybe others, some of you others have experienced it. I'll be interested in seeing your comments on that. So what other people have done is they've drilled small holes through the undercoating and into the side skirt, and then they've put these screws like these through both and just screwed the two together. It's a bit of a bodge, but I'm not sure I've got another way around it unless I want to start to buy all new clips, and it's not just buying the clips. I don't know what I'm going to do about straightening out all of the the sill, the box section of the sill. I can't get involved in that as well. So I think I'm going to have to go the same way as everybody else has gone with this. It's a good job I don't do this thing for a living, because I don't think I'd make a lot of money. It just seems to take me so much time to do everything. Yep, so I did what I did. I managed to straighten out one or two of the little spacer things underneath, but in the end I had to use a couple of screws. You can see one's just there. Won't focus, but you get the idea. And I fitted the caps that came with it. So do this. Look at this side as well. So just standard black caps. I'm not sure if they are standard, but that's what came with the bumper, so that's what I fitted. It doesn't fit very flush here, but actually if you look back at the video, you might notice it didn't fit flush with the original bumpers, and I have a feeling this car has been hit in the side and it's been repaired, because there's well, because of that. Obviously it doesn't feel as though this has been filled, so I'm guessing that somebody has done a proper job. But what I did notice is at about this point in the car, there's quite a dent in the sill. It's low, so it hasn't hit high up here. It seems to have hit quite low, so maybe the car slid sideways into something. I don't know. But it's the thing's straight. I mean, I can get all the geometry, suspension geometry correct, and the door's shut okay, and all the spacing, for a car that's 20 years old, spacing's pretty good. So it all looks good. So that's completed this one, and I'll do the other one tomorrow when the paint's cured on the sill.